I hope you like the franchise Tempest because Jeff Minter just can't let the franchise die. You know him as that freak sheep lover, and he makes games like this. Yeah, that's the guy. So I am the Game Collector, and this is Second Opinion Games, and today I review 3 Tempest video games.
Second Opinion Games.
First up is Tempest for the Atari 2600. This would have been a port of the classic arcade game that came out in 1981. And I wanted to show you guys some box art and the art on the cartridge itself. It looks pretty beautiful. Now, just to not get your hopes too far up there, I want to show you a little bit of Space Invaders so you can get a feel of what the Atari 2600 was all about. And now that that's out of the way, let's look at Tempest. Oh my god, this is really, really ugly, even by Atari 2600 standards. But I really guess I wouldn't hold it over its head too much, because when I tried to do some research on this game, I couldn't find a release date at all, meaning this could be a prototype? Now, someone sent me this card, so I have no idea where the heck it came from, and if it was a real release whatsoever, or just a fan-made mock-up. But this looks absolutely terrible. However, the controls are actually pretty good, and you could even use a paddle controller to move your character back and forth. But I'm just using the standard joystick, and it feels really fine. However, what's not fine is the fact that sometimes you get shot and hit and die, and you don't even see the bullets coming. After level 1, that is. Level 1, they just don't even shoot at you and come and try and eat you, and they're just like sitting ducks. So you might as well just kill them by holding down the fire button and moving back and forth. Go through a quick little warp drive section, and then you appear in the next level, which looks just like the other level, and that's just how the game is from there on. However, you're probably not going to get too far. I can't seem to even get past level 3, because it's just awkward and you just suddenly die sometimes for no reason. This game is also found on the Atari Flashback consoles by At Games, and there's plenty of good games to be found on those systems, so if you want to try out this Tempest game on the Atari 2600, that's probably your best way of doing it. Now, to not shock your senses too much, I'm showing you a little bit of Tempest 2000 for the Atari Jaguar. Now, the sound here, even though it's coming from a cartridge, is amazing. And I love the way that they use voice sampling to say Super Zapper Recharge in a sexy female voice. Also, the controls are superb, and the particle effects are everywhere, but they don't really seem to get in the way too much. You could kind of look past them. Now let's talk about the game I actually wanted to play here, and that's Tempest 4000. Tempest 4000 was released for the PS4 and the Xbox One, and one of the first things you're going to see is the graphics have really been updated from Tempest 2000 on the Jag, Tempest X on the PlayStation 1 and the Sega Saturn, and Tempest 3000 for the new one, you know, that system that no one's ever heard about. And the graphics might look plain at first, but before long, things are gonna get freaking crazy with particle effects everywhere. And I mean freaking everywhere, to the point where sometimes it's really hard to see the bullets coming at you, and you're just gonna try and stay alive. The musical side of things, honestly, I don't even know if I can play the music on YouTube without getting a copyright claim against me, because holy crap, this is top quality trans-hypno, techno, musical stuff. I'm not a music guy, but I know what I like, and I freaking love this soundtrack. You could probably throw it on an MP4 or CD or cassette tape, and I will eat the crap out of it because it is insanely good. Now, some of the voice sampling is pretty good too, like the way it says laser in the 8-bit computer way. However, when they say Super Zapper Recharge now, it sounds a little slowed down from that female voice and just isn't as good. Now, once per level, you could still use your Super Zapper to clear the screen, but this time it works maybe just a little bit different. Now, occasionally you'll get caught by an enemy and be taken right back down the tube, but this time you have a brief second to use your Super Zapper to save your own life. And there's other power-ups too, like an AI drone, which I freaking love, and the ability to jump, which then you can avoid and shoot all the enemies off the screen, which kind of feels a little cheap, but you know, it's how the game is played. This is actually a great version of Tempest. Going in, I was really worried about the controls, but they're actually really good. It didn't take me very long at all to jump right back into it. And also, this game is about $20 or less, depending on where you find it, making it pretty much a no-brainer to pick up. So, before I go into the next game, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm not going to talk about it right out of the gate. Instead, I'm going to show you some gameplay, because you kind of have to see it to believe it. Now, if you're prone to getting seizures, well, you probably shouldn't have been watching this video in the first place. But you're definitely going to want to turn it off now. Let me introduce you to Space Giraffe. Yes, this is Space Giraffe for the Xbox Live Arcade. It can work for the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One. And hopefully, watching this, you're not too overwhelmed as I am. Now, shooting here is automatic, so as you move back and forth, you're always firing. The A button is your Super Zapper, which also wipes out everything on screen, just like it always did. The left stick moves your character back and forth, and the right stick aims your shot. Sort of, kind of. I haven't really noticed if it's actually working at any point in time because, well, you can see that everything is going on the screen and it looks like a really, really bad trip. I think when Jeff Minter was making this game, he did, you know, all of the drugs. And it really shows with the visuals here, because my god, is it ever hard to look at. However, listening sounds just great with the music in the background. However, the sound effects sound like some type of barnyard orgy, which I wonder how he recorded that, because, man, there's a lot of sheep moaning noises and stuff going on there, and it's kind of creepy. Now, the price on this game isn't really going to set you back either. It's about $5. However, it never really got a physical release, so it's download only. So if that holds you back, well, you know what? It's current year, and you really should be downloading games by now, even though I do prefer physical copies. Now, before you start playing the game, there's a spot that you could go to look up different techniques that you could use to try and get the super high scores. However, every time I tried any of these techniques, I ended up doing worse than I did when I just moved back and forth playing it like a traditional Tempest game. So I kind of recommend ignoring all of that and just going into it for what it is. It's a audio-visual experience that will leave you horny for sheep. I mean, leave you satisfied for Tempest? Yeah, we'll go with that. So how'd I feel about Tempest overall here? Well, Tempest on the Atari 2600 isn't really worth tracking down in any way, shape, or form. And if you already have one of those at-game Atari flashback systems, well, you can play it there, and you'll probably feel the exact same way that I feel about it. It's a game? Now, Tempest 4000 for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 is terrific, and it stays true to form to how Tempest should be. It looks crystal clear, and the sound effects and the music is what really keeps you playing. And eventually you'll get into this total Tempest Zen mode where things really heat up. It's just a terrific game. And Space Giraffe is something that you could play if you did all of the drugs like Jeff Minter. And this game is so over the top, it's hard to explain. Now, as for gameplay, honestly, it falls a little bit short because it just feels like you're moving back and forth and so much is going on, you really can't really get into it too much, unless, of course, you really are in that kind of zone. And I never really got there. So for $5, though, I recommend picking it up. And if you really love the sheep and the Jeff Minter, well, you might as well support, well, at least these last two games. But that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. I had a great time making it. And if you want to see more of Tempest, well, I already did a head-to-head of Tempest X for the PlayStation 1 and Tempest 2000 for the Atari Jaguar. Or you could just check out my Atari Jaguar review on Tempest 2000. So hopefully you can leave me a comment of what games or game developers you want me to cover in the future. And until later, I will see you again, guys.